Hello and welcome back to Live from Paris. It's time now for business news, and for that I'm joined by Matthew Warren. Hello, Matthew.
Hello again.
Right, so we're going to start off with something, quite exciting for Apple fans anyway, certainly caused a lot of excitement. The new iPad goes on sale today.
Yes, so here in Paris it's been on sale for about an hour and 20 minutes now.
Right. And you're certainly not in the queue, you're here instead.
Not in the queue, I'm here. I've actually got an old one anyway, but they've been going on sale in 10 countries today. You're able to buy an iPad. It all started in Australia this morning, not surprisingly. Lots of people queuing up. In fact, we can hear from a couple of Apple fans in Australia about why they decided to wait all night.
If you're going to get it, you might as well.
Yeah.
I'd rather be here than like at the back, so...
Yeah, that's right.
So
No, we don't want to risk it selling out, so that's why we came earlier.
yeah.
They look a bit tired, though, don't they?
I know. Well, let's hope they got it at least.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, Apple is forecast to sell about 65 million of these iPads this year, and their share price has been responding very favourably to this launch. It's been going up. It's crossed $500 a little while ago, and now it's getting close. Look at that, to the $600 level. So pretty good news for them.
Absolutely. Well, Apple clearly doing well, but let's have a look at the stock markets more generally. How are they doing this Friday?
Well, the European markets have just opened, of course, so we can take a look. Trading's been pretty flat there, moving around, now pushing up into the green across the board. We can also take a look at Asia, where markets have now closed for the day. Let's not forget there's quite a lot of good news around generally on in the US economy. Certainly, there was some good news on the new jobless claims yesterday in the US. They were down to their lowest level for 4 years.
Okay. Well, we're going to stick here in Europe because Greece now is getting its hands on some much-needed cash, the second bailout fund.
That's right. So after the successful bond swap deal last week, it was the turn this week of governments and parliaments around the Eurozone to ratify the approval of this 130 billion euro bailout. Yesterday was the turn of the IMF to approve its portion of that, 28 billion euros. Kyle Brown has the story.
Good morning, everyone.
Among the many meetings with the IMF, Thursday's conference was highly anticipated.
This morning, the IMF's executive board approved continued support for Greece's ambitious economic program.
After months of negotiations, the IMF has approved 28 billion euros in funding for Greece over the next 4 years. It's the second bailout for a country whose economy has been in free fall and whose borrowing rates have risen to alarming levels. The IMF expects Greece to emerge from its recession in 2013, but with no anticipated growth. Europe's most indebted country has put previous loans to good use, but the country's banks have been slow to pump money into the economy.
Mistakes were made, things were omitted, and yes, things could have been different. But after a certain point, I believe we found the right strategy, and this strategy bore fruit and will bear fruit.
IMF and European officials will be keeping up the pressure on Athens to ensure the government implements its vast fiscal reform programs. Tax evasion has been a major drain on the Greek economy, but that is changing.
In the collection of tax arrears, a target had been set initially of 400 million euro, and at the end of 2011, this was be greatly overachieved with 946 million.
The rescue funds are expected this summer, but if the Greek government fails to implement the agreed reforms, the loan package could be at risk.
Well, Kyle Brown reporting there. Let's pick up on a few more of the day's business stories. Sovereign wealth fund Qatar Holding has continued its shopping spree here in France. The fund has taken a stake of more than 1% in French group LVMH. The luxury goods company owns brands including Louis Vuitton, Moët & Chandon and Marc Jacobs. Qatar has also snapped up shares in oil group Total, media company Lagardère and French football team Paris Saint-Germain.
China is showing its anger over the proposed European carbon tax. The country's cancelled an order for 10 Airbus jets. That's in addition to an order for 45 jets cancelled earlier this week. China, India and the US are protesting against costs that airlines will have to pay under the EU's emissions trading scheme.
And Ireland is hoping to change the terms of a loan from its central bank. The €31 billion loan was used to prop up the country's financial institutions. Ireland says a deal is vital to its recovery from the debt crisis and hopes to defer a repayment due on March the 31st.
Now, 30 years ago, Britain and Argentina fought a brief but bloody war over the Falkland Islands in the South Atlantic. While Britain kept its sovereignty over the islands, Argentina still disputes that claim, and Argentina now says it'll take legal action against companies who try to exploit oil reserves around the disputed territory. Luke Schrago has the story.
Firms exploring for oil around the British-administered Falkland Islands could be steaming into troubled waters. Argentina's threatening to take civil and criminal action against them.
By giving Great Britain illegitimate licenses, all these companies are entering illegal territory on different levels and in different ways. What we're going to do in the end is defend our natural resources. The gas and oil that is found in the South Atlantic belongs to the Argentines.
Only one company, Rockhopper Exploration plc, has struck oil so far and has been seeking an investor to fund production. But Argentina claims Britain's in violation of a UN resolution preventing unilateral action while the territory's sovereignty is in question. Not according to UK authorities. They've long insisted the islanders have the right to exploit their oil reserves and that they want to remain British.
The people of the Falkland Islands could not be clearer that they want to continue their status as an overseas territory of the United Kingdom. As long as they want that, that is not going to change. That Britain will continue to protect and defend them.
30 years after the British repelled an Argentine invasion of the territory, it seems Buenos Aires is still determined to keep up the diplomatic pressure.
Right, well, finally, Matthew, moving back here to Europe, because a surprising market's developed for some rather unusual living spaces in Germany. Tell us more.
Yes, now this is an interior design challenge. Decorate a bunker. Now, these are bunkers, and we can see them here.
Concrete chic there.
Concrete chic, definitely. There are 2,000 of them in Germany, both, as we can see here, above ground and below ground. An enterprising German architect spent 6 years actually trying to take ownership of one of these. He managed it, and now he's renovating others as well.
Wow, that one looks lovely.
I know, it's pretty amazing what you can do with a bunker. Now, they're very good for musicians because, of course, they're very soundproofed. And here's a musician telling us about that.
Given that my drums are really loud, it is difficult to find a location in which you can rehearse properly, apart from in a bunker.
So he's happy with that. Now, the BIMA, Federal Agency for Real Estate in Germany, they look after this. They say that of those 2,000 bunkers, about 50 have been sold so far. So, but they're really keen to step this up. I bet you're dying to know how much
I wouldn't mind.
Would it set you back, one of these? It's between 100,000 and 400,000 euros. That's quite a lot, isn't it, for a bunker?
It's quite a lot, but perhaps you get more space than you would for that amount here in Paris.
Perhaps you do. And as you can see there, some of them were quite big. So I was surprised.
Exactly.
And they had windows and things like that, of course, once you've renovated them.
Yeah, per square metre, that's not bad at all.
Yes, exactly.
Well, maybe there's a market here in France for a few leftover bunkers as well. You never know. Well, thanks very much indeed, Matthew, for that look at today's business news. And that's just about it from us for now. But do stay tuned. There's more news coming up with my colleague Melissa Bell in just a few moments after the international weather.